In the past 2 months, I've been working really hard on this YouTube channel, and in the process, I've made quite a lot of garments. So today, I'm going to be sharing with you all of the garments that I've recently made. I've also made tutorials for quite a few of them, so I'll be sure to link them if it's applicable. Rather than going in the order that I created the garments, I'm going to go by category. So first, we're going to start with dresses. In the past 2 months, I've made 2 dresses, both from the same pattern, and that pattern is the Matilda dress by Cool Stitches. The first Matilda dress I made was a toile and included a few adjustments to the pattern. I omitted the ruffled detail and used the lower shell for both the bodice and the bodice lining. I also made the skirt panel longer than the pattern called for because I wanted to use all the fabric that I had. Overall, I really enjoyed the result, but I knew that for the final dress, I wanted to use the recommended skirt size and the correct pattern pieces for the bodice because I didn't love how skinny the bodice ended up being at the back. Here's the second Matilda dress that I made, and the only adjustments to the pattern was adding extra length to the skirt panel and omitting the ruffled detail on the bodice. I absolutely love the result. It's made out of a lightweight deadstock twill that has a beautiful drape. I also really ended up liking the color of the dress against my skin tone. It's not a color that I previously had in my wardrobe, so I'm super happy with how it turned out. I also love the placement and the size of the pockets. The dress is flowy enough for me to stick my phone in the pocket without it being super noticeable, and I think that's a huge plus. I have a tutorial and a full review for the Matilda dress. If you're planning to make the dress, I would highly recommend watching the review first because I point out some of the things that I don't love about the dress and how I would go about making it again in the future. Now let's move on to pants. I made 3 different pants that I'm super excited to share with you. The first is the Bisque trousers by Vivian, Shao, Chen. I have 2 tutorials on my channel for this pattern. The first is the shorts version with no modifications to the pattern, and the second is the trousers that I'm about to show you with a handful of modifications. I made the trousers specifically for outdoor rock climbing, so the modifications were made to better suit my needs. On the right side of the trousers, I added a loop to attach my carabiner to. I also drafted double front knee patches so that they would be more durable. At the ankles, I created adjustable elastics so I could wear them cinched or wide. And lastly, I added rivets for durability. They're made out of a Japanese cotton twill from the Salt Lake Society in the color charcoal, and the pockets are made out of a deadstock wool to keep my hands warm on cold climbing days. They turned out exactly how I'd imagined, but the only bummer is that they're quite warm, so they're really only good for the winter. But that's not a huge problem because I definitely needed to add a warm pair of trousers for my climbing wardrobe. Next up is the high-waisted trousers by the Assembly line. I also have a tutorial for these, but I'll be the first to say that I definitely had issues with this pattern. Although the trousers ended up turning out okay, I had to tailor them a lot to fit. I made a size medium and ended up needing to take in about 5 inches from the waistband. I go in depth in the tutorial on all the adjustments that I made, but as you can see, there are still a few issues. The first being that the zipper area is curved, and the second being the bunching at the back near the waistband. Although I do have some issues with the trousers, they're definitely still wearable and look great paired with an oversized sweater, which also helps to take the attention away from the areas that I'm not in love with. Ultimately, my ideal trouser pattern would have 1 dart in the back instead of 2, and 2 large pleats at the front that start at the top of the waistband rather than starting down a few inches. Now the next pants that I made are the wide leg Dawn jeans by Nielsen. I made them out of an 11-ounce medium wash stretch denim from the Salt Lake Society, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. I cut a size 12, which are my exact measurements, but I forgot to take into account the stretch of the material. So I ended up taking in about 4 inches between the side seams and the center back seam. I also scooped out the front crotch to have a little extra space, but I wish I had scooped it out even more because they're pretty invasive when I'm sitting down. I omitted the back pockets purely because I didn't have enough fabric for them. And while filming, my partner came in to ask me a question, so here he is.
Nice.
Okay, back to the jeans. I made a super wide visible hem with a raw edge and also added rivets for a professional finish. Although they fit smaller at the waist and the crotch than I would prefer, I still think they're pretty bitchin' and I'm excited to make another pair. Okay, we're done with pants and now we're moving on to tops. I have 4 tops to show you, 2 of which are my most recent makes. And they are the long sleeve turtlenecks by the Essentials Club. The first one is cropped with extra long sleeves and features raw edges at the sleeve openings and the bodice opening. The neckline is 1.5 inches and it's made out of a textured stretchy knit. It's super cozy and would look great over a cute lacy bralette. Up next is the same top in a pastel green color. The fabric is buttery soft and it basically feels like I'm not wearing anything. On this top, I used a cover stitch for the sleeve openings and the bodice opening. I really love how it turned out and it will be a great layering piece once it's a bit colder out. If you want to make this top, head over to the Essentials Club's YouTube channel for Maddie's tutorial where she teaches you how to draft the pattern for free. Now we're going to move on to this workout top that I self-drafted. The goal was to make something comfortable that didn't impede on any of my back muscles while rock climbing. I also wanted a flattering neckline, so I went for a deep V. This was the first rendition and it went pretty well, but there was a bit too much length at the back strap. It's definitely wearable, but it's not great for climbing because when I'm making big moves, I feel like my boobs are gonna fall out. Instead, I pair this top with jeans or trousers and I wear it for hanging out or running errands. For the second top, I took out some length in the back strap, which caused the neckline to sit higher than the previous top. That's the only adjustment that I made to the pattern, and it feels much more secure when working out. I'm really proud of the final result, and I think the shape is really flattering for my body type. Since making it, I've gotten lots of compliments at the climbing gym, and I was even commissioned by a friend to make her one as well. She said that her favorite part is how easy it is to go from wearing it at the gym to wearing it out for dinner. Okay, moving on from shirts and into bras and swimwear. I made 3 sports bras and 1 bikini. I self-drafted all the sports bras, and I made a tutorial on how you can draft and sew them as well. The first bra is a direct copy of my favorite ready-to-wear sports bra from Verve Climbing. It's called the Lorelei bra, and it's super flattering for anyone with a small chest like me. It features a crisscross back design and a deep V in the front. In the second and third renditions of this sports bra, I changed the back design to be the same skinny strap that was featured in my self-drafted crop top from earlier. If you want to make that top, you can just use the tutorial for my sports bra and extend the side seams to make it longer. As far as the pattern goes, I didn't change anything from the second to the third sports bra other than the material that I used. After experimenting a bit, I would highly recommend using a soft swimsuit material for sports bras because I've just found that they're much comfier than other materials that you could use. Alright, next up is the Alley top and the Roxy bottoms by Edgewater Avenue. The top came out great and is super comfy. I've already worn it to the pool and it passes the test. The bottoms, on the other hand, have far too much camel toe for my liking and I will not be getting anywhere out of them. I do want to point out though that this has nothing to do with the pattern and everything to do with my fabric choice. I think the fabric is ultimately just too thin for a pair of swimsuit bottoms. Okay, that wraps up the bras and swim category, and now we're moving on to accessories. I only have one accessory to show you, and that's the ZW Wave 2 by Bag.uettes. I was a pattern tester for this bag and I plan to make a tutorial on it once the pattern is officially released, which should be very soon. It's a very simple design, and my favorite part about it is that it's a zero waste pattern, so you cut the whole thing from one square. There are a few options for this pattern, but I chose to make the long strap version. I used a lightweight faux leather because it's something that I already had in my stash, and a peel-on ultra-firm stabilizer for the bag's interior. Faux leather probably wasn't the best option because it was a bit too stiff and it made the making process longer because I couldn't iron it. You can see how the side doesn't lay flat because of the material's weight. Other than that, I love the shape of the bag and I'm excited to make a tutorial for you guys soon. Alright, now we're going to talk about toiles and unfinished garments. And first up is the Persephone pants by Anna Allen. You can see here that I've hand basted on the waistband, and overall they're looking pretty good. I made them out of a dead stock fabric and I'm not totally sure what the makeup is, but I think it's a lightweight twill. I probably could have chosen something a bit heavier, but overall I'm pretty happy with how they look when I'm standing up. You'll see the issue that I have with these pants when I sit down. There's a ton of gaping at the waistband, and this is because the pattern piece is a straight waistband instead of a curved waistband. Straight waistbands work for some people, but a curved waistband is better for my body type. If this happens to you, you can either draft a curved waistband based on the straight waistband, or you can use another waistband from a pattern you already own. The reason that I haven't finished these yet is because I plan to draft a curved waistband, and I want to share the process with you so that you can learn how to fix a gaping waistband if this happens to you in the future. I'll be making that video very soon, so be sure to keep an eye out for it. Now the last 4 toiles are the Helene jeans by Anna Allen. I chose to make all of them as shorts instead of full-length pants because I didn't want to waste any fabric if the toiles didn't end up being wearable. I made a lot of pattern adjustments to these toiles, and I decided to make a dedicated video for it because you guys specifically asked for that over on Instagram. If you're not already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that video, and if you like this video, you'll probably also like my video on 15 free sewing patterns so that you can make a capsule wardrobe on a budget. Click or tap the screen to check it out, and I'll see you in the next one.